The night air in Miami hung thick with humidity and tension. A sleek car idled beneath a flickering streetlight, its headlights cutting through the darkness like a warning no one could hear. Inside, a woman sat perfectly still, eyes cold, calculating, watching. Across the street, a man stepped out, unaware that his fate had already been decided long before he arrived. There were no raised voices, no dramatic confrontations, just quiet certainty. In her world, decisions were made in silence, and consequences came without warning. This was the world of Griselda Blanco, a woman who didn't just survive chaos, she controlled it. And before the night was over, another name would be added to a list no one ever lived to talk about. Long before the power, before the empire, her story began in hardship. Born in Cartagena in 1943, Griselda Blanco's early life was shaped by poverty, instability, and exposure to violence. Her mother moved them to the outskirts of Medellin, where crime wasn't hidden. It was part of daily life. By the time most children were learning how to read, Griselda was learning how to survive. One of the most chilling stories tied to her childhood claims that at just 11 years old, she participated in the kidnapping of a boy from a wealthy family. When the ransom couldn't be paid, the story goes that she shot him herself. Whether fully verified or not, the story reflects how deeply violence was embedded in her identity from an early age. As she grew older, Griselda didn't drift away from crime. She leaned into it. She became involved in petty theft, scams, and street hustles, quickly developing a reputation for being fearless and unpredictable. Relationships in her life were never simple. She married young, but control and power were always at the center of her connections. It's widely believed that her first husband died under suspicious circumstances, with some accounts suggesting she may have been involved. Whether proven or not, this marked the beginning of a pattern. Men in her life rarely stayed alive for long. By the 1970s, Blanco had discovered the opportunity that would change everything: cocaine. At a time when the drug trade between Colombia and the United States was still developing, she saw its full potential before many others did. She moved operations toward New York City, building one of the earliest large-scale cocaine smuggling networks. She wasn't just participating, she was innovating. Women were used as couriers, drugs were hidden in specially designed garments, and entire systems were built to avoid detection. But with growth came enemies, and Griselda Blanco didn't tolerate threats, she erased them. Unlike many crime figures who relied on intermediaries, she was known for being directly involved in decisions of life and death. Stories describe how she would order hits without hesitation, sometimes over minor disputes. One of her most notorious contributions to organized crime was the use of motorcycle assassins, fast, efficient killers who could strike in seconds and disappear into traffic. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, she had shifted her focus to Miami, where her empire exploded in size and influence. At the peak of her power, she was reportedly moving massive quantities of cocaine and generating millions of dollars. But her rise fueled a wave of tension that transformed the city. Public fear increased, and Miami entered what would be known as the Miami Drug War. Her nickname, the Black Widow, came from both fear and pattern. Like the spider, she was believed to eliminate her partners once they were no longer useful. Multiple husbands and lovers met violent ends, reinforcing the idea that no one was safe, not even those closest to her. To Griselda, loyalty was temporary, and trust was expendable. Despite her dominance, fear never left her. It evolved into paranoia. She trusted almost no one and often believed betrayal was inevitable. This mindset drove her to act first, eliminating perceived threats before they could act. It kept her alive, but it also ensured that her world remained soaked in violence. In 1985, she was arrested in California after years of evading authorities. But even prison couldn't fully stop her influence. Reports suggested she continued to orchestrate operations from behind bars, maintaining control over parts of her network. She spent nearly 2 decades imprisoned while the world she helped create continued to evolve. New cartels emerged, old ones collapsed, but her methods remained influential. When she was released in 2004 and returned to Medellin, her life appeared quieter. But her past never fully disappeared. In 2012, her life came to an end outside a butcher shop in Medellin, in a moment that echoed the methods once associated with her rise.